pressed a lot of 4-leaf clovers, and today I'm going to try to see if I can instead start pressing them using magnetiles. You know, those little magnetic building toys? I've seen people start to press flowers in them, but I've never seen anyone try to press anything as thin as a 4-leaf clover, so we're going to try it out and see how well it works. I have been collecting and pressing 4-leaf clovers for a few years now. These are just more the recent ones that I have, and people are going to be like, no, 4-leaf clovers have heart-shaped leaves. I got those too. They can be round, they can be heart-shaped leaves, they come in all different shapes and sizes. Here's a 5-leaf heart-shaped clover that I found too. But anyway, usually I would just press my clovers in an old sketchbook, but that's kind of annoying to do because you forget what pages they're on. Some of them are on different pages. I just think this be a more fun, simple way to do it, you know, without having to buy a whole flower press. So I'm going to try sandwiching a clover in between each little piece and see how well they press. My main concern is they do have a little bit of a recess on the side, so I put a piece of cardstock on just a couple of them to see if that makes any kind of difference. And now all that's left is to test it by going out in my backyard to do some 4-leaf clover hunting. My cat decided to come with me, and I found my first one right by the base of this tree over here. So we're gonna pluck that one real quick and stick it into our little magnetile press here. I just kind of finagled it how I wanted it and sandwiched it in there. Then I found, like a few inches away, our second one. It is a little chewed up, but you know what? It gives it character, so I don't mind. What I do mind is if they've been chewed up by a lawnmower. I just toss those back. And you are going to see in the background a bunch of 4-leaf clovers that I miss. It makes me just as mad as it makes you, I know. But a tip that I got to tell you all, if you ever find a 4-leaf clover, look around it, because a lot of the time there will be more 4-leaf clovers very, very close by. That is because 4-leaf clovers are what's called a genetic mutation, where basically there's like a glitch in their genes that makes them grow that extra leaf. And so if you look nearby, there may be other clovers with that same mutation, so you could find more 4-leaf clovers sometimes right next to each other. I've even found them touching clustered in groups of 3 before. It is truly fascinating. And in this little square foot of grass, we found 4 more 4-leaf clovers, giving us a total of 8 today. Here is how they look in our little magnetile press. So we're going to let them dry out for about 2 weeks and check back with the results. All right, it's been about 2 weeks and they're not looking so good. I mean, there's still hope. We're still going to go through all of them. Maybe the ones with the cardstock in between did a little bit better. We'll see. But these ones on top definitely did shrivel up a bit because there is that gap there in between the pieces, which lets some air get through there, I guess, so they're not as flat as they really should be. But here they all are. These 6 toward the bottom were the ones that I just pressed between the magnetiles themselves, and these 2 up here had the cardstock in between, which did a lot better. Almost as good as it would look if I had pressed it in my sketchbook. I might keep using this method, honestly. I might even try also sandwiching some wax paper in there along with the cardstock so they don't stick. But even with the cardstock, they're still not probably as effective as, you know, a real flower press, but they're definitely more fun. The way the tiles click together and everything is very satisfying.